Wildlife refers to all forms of life, including plants and animals, that have not been harmed by humans or that do not rely on humans for survival. Wildlife can be found in all ecosystems. Deserts, forests, rainforests, plains, grasslands, and other areas, including the most developed urban areas, all host distinct forms of wildlife. While in popular culture the term wildlife usually refers to animals that have not been affected by human factors, most scientists agree that much wildlife is affected by human activities. Humans have historically tended to separate civilization from wildlife in a number of ways, including in a legal, social, and moral sense. Some animals have adapted to suburban environments. This includes domestic animals such as cats, dogs, mice, and rats. Religions have sanctified some animals, and in modern times, concern for the natural environment has sparked activists to protest against the exploitation of wildlife for human benefit or entertainment. The number of wild animals globally declined by 52% between 1970 and 2014, according to a report by the World Wildlife Fund. Many people find getting close to wild animals to be a terrifying obsession, perhaps because some believe that the term wild animal refers only to predatory animals, but in fact it refers to animals that have not been domesticated by man and have remained loose in the prairies, woodlands, deserts, and various valleys, and man did not control or tame them, and there are hundreds of species of animals in the world. In the wild, these animals have many characteristics that make them full of surprise and mystery. Wild animals depend on a different way of life than domestic animals, as they live far from humans, depend on themselves for food, and most of them have distinct hunting skills. They can also adapt to the conditions of their wild life in forests and deserts better than other animals, and despite this, many species are threatened with extinction due to their inability to adapt, especially due to the presence of many reasons that affect their lives, such as natural disasters such as earthquakes, volcanoes, forest fires, floods, droughts, the spread of disease, poisoning, or nutritional deficiencies, or perhaps certain human factors such as overfishing and the assault on the forests and woods they live in, which makes them homeless, as the overhunting of wild animals and the constant assault on their habitat has caused many of them to dwindle in number. In addition to this aggression causing destruction of the vital environment and wildlife in general, and many of them are exposed to poisoning due to the use of pesticides. Nowadays, most countries in the world resort to take many steps with the aim of preserving wildlife in general, and these animals in particular, and one of the most important things that many countries do is the work of natural reserves for wild animals, the multiplication of species, especially endangered species, and the provision of food and the protection of these animals and the prevention of approaching them by hunters, especially in the breeding seasons, and among the most famous things that are preserved in nature reserves, lions, tigers, deer, zebras, giraffes, and others, and many kinds of wild birds, and many international, regional, and local associations and organizations have been established which perform a great duty towards animals in general, and wild animals in particular, because the extinction of any type of them constitutes a major loss for the vital system. Preserving wildlife in all its forms is the duty of every individual, and states, governments and societies must fully fulfill their duty to animals, whether wild or domesticated, because these animals were created by God to perform a role on earth, and they are a trust around everyone's neck, and preserving them is an important part of running the trust. In addition to this, it
Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell feature to receive all new